This makes the Pittsburgh Steelers even scarier. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Pittsburgh Steelers content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first story is that Jaguars wide receiver could become a massive option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the hunt for a wide receiver, and while they haven't found one yet, they appear to still be looking. With Cooper Kupp possibly off the market after Los Angeles Rams' Week 8 win, the NFL is turning their attention elsewhere, and there's a new name in the AFC to watch. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Christian Kirk is the name to watch on the market leading up to the deadline. Jacksonville is 2-5 heading into Week 8 and have a slim chance at turning things around drastically enough to secure a playoff spot. So, they may be interested in selling, and teams are checking in on Kirk. Other teams also are eyeing Kirk, whose performance this season in Jacksonville have fallen off compared to past seasons. Should the Jaguars lose Sunday to Green Bay to fall to 2-6, it might make it more likely they would be willing to entertain offers for players such as Kirk, Schefter writes. On top of this, it's believed that the Steelers are at the top of the list for the next wide receiver trade. After missing on Brandon Ayuk, Davante Adams, and also possibly Kupp, the team is awaiting their opportunity to strike in a trade. They're unable to acquire Deontay Johnson, who could be on the market in Carolina, because of the NFL rule forbidding teams from trading for a player they just traded away within a 2-year span. So, while other teams will call the Panthers, the Steelers may be calling elsewhere like the Jaguars. There's an expectation that Pittsburgh will be a big name buyer at the trade deadline as they try to boost their offense before the back half of the season. If they defeat the New York Giants in Week 8, they'll sit a 6-2 heading into the bye week with a veteran quarterback and a growing offense, and the only missing piece will be a wide receiver too. Kirk will turn 28 years old by the end of the season, and he's accumulated 25 catches for 340 yards and a touchdown this season as well. Now, when it comes to this as well, Steelers Justin Fields posts a 2-word cryptic message as the NFL trade deadline does come near. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers won the quarterback Justin Fields, going 4-2 over the first 6 weeks of the season, but then they won without him, routing the New York Jets in Week 7 after bumping Fields from a starting lineup in favor of Russell Wilson. Fields has said all the right things publicly, taking blame for his benching by stating outright that he could have kept the job had he played better. However, Fields accounted for 10 combined TDs against just 1 interception through 6 games. He's in a final year of his rookie contract and bound for free agency in March. If he doesn't ink an extension with the Steelers before then there is no question Fields wants to go back into action at some point during this year and prove himself worthy of a strong multi-year deal in what should be relatively weak free agent market at QB position in 2025. Now, the spurned Steelers signal callers seem to acknowledge his anxiousness to return to a starting role via his post on Instagram, saying patiently waiting. Now, what Fields meant exactly is up for interpretation, and he could be waiting for another chance in Pittsburgh should Wilson perhaps fail or suffer injury. He could be waiting to hit free agency and sign a 1-year prove-it deal somewhere else in the NFL, like Sam Darnold did with the Minnesota Vikings last offseason. Or Fields could be waiting for a teammate to make a call to the Steelers ahead of the November 5 trade deadline. It appears that Wilson, who began the season with a calf injury, is now the firm starter in Pittsburgh and will remain so for the rest of the year as long as he stays healthy. The Steelers, 5-2 and legitimate contenders in the AFC, may decide that holding onto Fields as a safety net is the correct move because of the importance of the QB position and his relative success in their system thus far. But Pittsburgh is also expected to try and deal for a wide receiver over the next week and a half. Fields could potentially be the centerpiece of such a trade, and depending on the team in question, which may allow the Steelers to get better this year without sacrificing significant draft capital in 2025. Pittsburgh may also decide that it wants to pursue a quarterback in next year's draft to play behind. The second story is that Pittsburgh Steelers signed wide receiver Andy Isabella. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers announced Friday that they have signed receiver Andy Isabella to their practice squad. Isabella, 27 years old, will make a return to the NFL after signing with the St. Louis Battlehawks of the UFL earlier this month. Isabella is in his 6th season in the league after being selected in the second round of the 2019 NFL Draft by the Arizona Cardinals. The former UMass standout has appeared in 43 games with the Cardinals, Baltimore Ravens, and Buffalo Bills. Isabella has hauled in 33 receptions for 447 yards and 3 touchdowns. Isabella was one of the most productive wideouts during his time in college, and he had 231 receptions for 3,526 yards and 30 touchdowns for the Minutemen. Isabella was named a Biletnikoff Award finalist and consensus All-American in 2018. Now, Isabella will provide useful depth for the Steelers, who are riding a 2-game win streak heading into Monday's Week 8 home contest against the New York Giants. The Steelers have just 2 receivers, George Pickens and Calvin Austin, with over 100 total receiving yards this season. Pickens leads the team with 31 catches for 474 yards to go along with 1 score. So on top of this, when we also look further, we also do see that Justin Fields picks up an injury and as Russell sets to continue in Pittsburgh. In the run-up Monday Night Football, there has actually been uncertainty around Justin Fields' availability for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the New York Giants. Terry Bradshaw, a devoted supporter of the Fields, was caught off guard live on Fox when the news broke. Bradshaw had earlier voiced criticism towards Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin for benching Fields in favor of Russell Wilson following the latter's return from a calf injury sustained in preseason. This despite Fields steering the team to an encouraging 4-2 beginning. Wilson's is now poised to get additional playtime as Fields grapples with a recent hamstring issue. Fox NFL Sunday host Jay Glazer disclosed the situation to Bradshaw and the rest of the panel. Just got off the phone with Mike Tomlin. He said Fields actually tweaked his hamstring late this week. Doesn't think he's going to be able to go tomorrow night, and he's not sure just yet. Probably going to have an MRI after the game, so it's going to be all Russell Wilson. But this was a game that they kind of hoping to use that 2-headed quarterback duo out there, but not really going to be able to do it now because of the hamstring. Tomlin's choice of quarterback is being backed internally by both Fields and Wilson, who have made a significant impact on the Steelers roster. Between Russ and Justin, they've always supported each other. Steelers defensive lineman Cam Neward told Not Just Football, the media, and people outside the locker room have pitted these guys against each other. They've been supporting of each other and they've made the team the team. That's all that mattered and I'm appreciative of it. It doesn't bring any extra drama, they come in for business and they both come in ready to perform as well. Now on top of this, when we also look further, Wilson has also commented on the young quarterback and recognized his evident football talent. Fields was traded to Pittsburgh in the offseason after challenging period in Chicago with the Bears, where he was initially drafted back in 2021. Yeah, I think first of all, Justin is such a tremendous football player, Wilson told the media on Thursday. Alright, with week 9 almost here, I definitely got to put some bets in for week 9, and we got Tennessee Titans beating the New England Patriots. Now, I love doing this on BetUS. Now, if you haven't heard of BetUS before, right now they do have a promo, 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. So we're going to be putting $100 on the Tennessee Titans. The potential win out is $86.96. So we're going to just confirm it just like that, and just like that, we are pretty much good to go. So very easy to do. They have the fastest payouts in the industry, so definitely go check out BetUS. Like I mentioned before, guys, 150% bonus on your first deposit and then 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. So definitely go check them out, guys, and when it comes to BetUS, definitely go check them out. The third story is why TJ Watt is on pace to be the greatest Steelers defender ever. Now, when BTSC held our all-time Pittsburgh Steelers fantasy draft earlier this year, I surprised some by selecting TJ Watt as a number 1 overall. With 32 Hall of Famers and a dozen more in the Hall of Honor, how could a player currently on the roster be in the same conversation with these legends? But recently, some important Steelers figures are putting Watt high in their all-time rankings. So while there is still many chapters left to be written in Watt's story, he's currently on pace to be the greatest Steelers defender ever. The conversation got serious last month when former head coach Bill Cowher ranked his top 5 Steelers defenders Steelers on the NFL Today. He listed Watt for all-time, behind Joe Green, Rod Woodson, and Mel Blount, with Troy Polamalu 5th. Now, Jack Ham second Coer's assessment on Friday when he appeared on 93.7 The Fan with his top 5. He also put Watt 5th behind Green, Polamalu, Blount, and Woodson. Now, so let's see how Watt actually compares with these other legends in terms of stats. Now, when we look at someone like DT Joe Green, 5-time All-Pro, 5 second-team All-Pro, and 10-time Pro Bowler. We have Jack Lambert, 6-time All-Pro, 2-time second All-Team All-Pro, and 9-time Pro Bowler. Jack Ham, 6-time All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, and 8-time Pro Bowler, and others like to mention. Now, when it comes to TJ Watt, 4-time All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro, and 6-time Pro Bowler. And statistically, Watt is on pace to match, and if not, break most of the individual accolades. He's already the Steelers' all-time sack leader, and he's potentially on his way to his 7th Pro Bowl in 8 seasons, as long as he stays healthy.